Hello everyone, welcome to our last session on SAP UI5. By far in the class, we have seen how to create OData services, how to consume OData services in SAP Fiori applications. We have seen how to implement different CRUD methods in the OData service. In the last class, we have also seen how to process images using OData services. In today's episode, we will just go ahead and see how to create an end-to-end Fiori application. When your company wants you to create a Fiori application, how do you get started with the Fiori application? What is the right way to get started with it? We will talk about neoapp.json. We will talk about destination creation. We'll talk about the paging technique using SAP UI5, how the SAP UI5 Fiori application is interacting to the backend, how is the paging $top and $skip is being implemented using UI5. We will also talk about how to do a create operation from the UI5 based application. So let's get started. In today's class, I will first show you how to connect or configure your web IDE to be able to connect to the Fiori server. Now, as you all remember that we have our SAP web IDE, and this SAP web IDE is used to create SAP Fiori application for developers. Okay. And now we have on the other side your SAP Fiori front end server. You can also call it as SAP gateway. Okay. Then just beneath the SAP gateway, you have SAP Fiori backend server. This is your Fiori backend server. Now, anybody, one question to all of you: which server do you register your OData? From which server do you expose your OData service out? Anybody? Which server? Front end server. Perfect answer, Raji. So from the front end server, you will be exposing your OData service out. So your OData service is exposed from here. Okay. Now what happens is we have our Fiori application, which we are developing, and we are using SAP Web IDE. So actually we are using SAP Web IDE for developers to be able to now develop our Fiori applications. Now this web IDE somehow needs to know that this is a gateway server to which it has to interact for the purpose of local testing, for the purpose of deploying the Fiori application to the backend system, Fiori front-end system, of course, for the purpose of reading the OData services which are available, for the purpose of reading the information about the metadata of each and every service so that we can create this Fiori application out of box using templates, for the purpose of deploying your Fiori application or checking out an existing Fiori application inside a BAP system. So is there a different purpose why somebody would like to interact with the SAP server, right? And all this interaction is done via something called a destination. So you must create a destination. This is what you must do. Okay. Once you create this destination, then only you will be able to talk or interact with SAP gateway. So tell me, if you have in your company 3 different gateway systems, how many destinations you will create? If you have 3 different gateway systems for, let's say, for dev, queue and prod, how many destinations you will be creating? Anybody? How many destinations you will be creating if you have 3 different systems in your company? Of course, 3 destinations you will be creating. Perfect answer. You'll be creating 3 destinations. So one per system you got to create it. And since we are right now here using local web ID, this destination is created as a file. Okay, we got to create it as a file. Now, what is this file format? How this file should be written? It's all given documented by SAP on SAP Web ID Personal Edition configuration. Okay, so you can go to Google and search for this configuration. Maybe I'll just quickly show you. SAP Web IDE Personal Edition configuration. Search for it. I see blank screen. However, let's see, it must be searching it. Yeah, and you see the first link itself, or maybe I just search for something called more interesting, help.sap.com, and I got this couple of links, and you see here help.sap.link is important. This is the one main link, guys. Any link which you're talking, only help.sap.com is up to date and relevant for us. Let's go inside this and see what SAP has to say about when it comes to talking to the backend system from your web IDE. Okay, it's not able to find this. Maybe I just go and check back something else. Again, yet now you see SAP Web IDE developer guide version with SAP Web IDE product, SAP Web IDE. Maybe I just click on that. Yes. And now you can see developing, modifying your application descriptor. Let me just search. Where can we find the configuration information? Yes, connect to your ABAP system. Requirement for connecting to your ABAP system. You see there information given in notes. Let me just check if there is another option to be able to define the configuration. I'm unable to find that. So maybe I will just quickly show you. Going back, create destination SAP Web IDE, search for that, and now here you can see how to create destination for Web IDE. Okay, not really helpful information, but maybe let me show you then the file format, guys, which is important. How can you create destination from in a file format to be able to talk to the gateway system? Okay, however, I find one link over here, but again, yet not so important, not so easy to understand. So let me just directly show you how to create such a file. So you got to start with the notepad file, guys. Start the notepad file, and now you have to mention here different properties to be able to communicate to your gateway system. What are all those different properties? Okay, now here you are going to talk to your server, so you need to provide the server detail. Remember, guys, this is a destination file per server. It is not per OData service, so you got to specify one file per server. Clear, everyone? You got to specify one file per server. So if you are planning to connect to 5 different SAP servers, you got to just have 5 files, and in each file you just provide server detail. You don't give your OData service details. I see people usually put this file and they also give their OData service details in that. No, this file is a destination file indicating only and only the information about server, no information about OData service in this. Remember, this is very important activity. If you miss this, then there is a really serious problem. Okay, you will not be able to connect to your backend system. So what are all the different properties which we typically give when it comes to this? So you got to give name, type, description, URL. So let me just note down those properties which we will be giving when it comes to the destination file. So we have to provide a name, some name of the server, type, what type of communication it is. Is it HTTP or HTTPS? Depending on your server, what type of server protocol it is using. description, some description which will be visible at the later point of time in web IDE. So let's say my S4 server. Okay, so name, type, description. You got to also give the URL now. Okay, you got to give the URL of the server. So I will just provide the URL, and then you have to give how the server is going to, how the web ID is going to communicate to the server. Okay, so you have to give URL and then HTTP colon slash slash your host name and port number. This is the URL. Okay, and then you got to say proxy type, how system is going to, how web ID is going to communicate to your SAP system. We give usually internet. Then you got to give more properties like information about how the user will be authenticated. So we should never give any hard coded username password in our file. Okay, we should give an authentication mechanism, and we can say no authentication, which means the moment you try and connect to the server, system will pop you up a logon pop up automatically. Okay, so we should say authentication, and we say no authentication, and I say web IDE usage. What is the purpose you are creating this destination? I am creating this destination for the purpose of OData underscore gen. OData underscore gen means I want to connect to OData service from my using this destination. I want to create it for ABAP underscore dev. For ABAP development, I want to create this. I want to check out and check in project in my SAP system. That's why I want to do it. So I want to do it OData gen dev ABAP UI5 execute ABAP dev ABAP UI5 execute ABAP. This is what I want. My destination, the purpose of the destination, guys. That's what the purpose of destination. What are all the different things you're allowed? Then you got to give web IDE system and web IDE enabled. So you got to mention here web IDE system, and this should be a system ID. So typically it's a 3-digit system ID, XYZ, whatever you are having, and web IDE allowed equals to true. Sorry, web ID enabled equals to true. And then finally you got to also mention SAP hyphen client. Sometimes in companies what so happen is they have same system but two different client, one for dev and one for queue. Majority of the time it so happen like this. So you got to, if you want to connect using one client to dev and one client to quality, you got to create two destination with same configuration with SAP hyphen client value as different values. Okay, so your client here you got to mention. This is the format of the file, destination file you got to create to be able to connect to your S4 HANA system. So we already have our S4 HANA system or any gateway system for that matter. What you got to do is now you have to find this URL. Okay, this host and port name. Where do you find it? It's very easy. Go to your gateway system and try and execute your OData service. Okay, and maybe just execute it here, and let's see what URL do I get. So in this first OData call itself, you're gonna get your URL. You see, this is my URL of the server. Clear, everybody? This is the URL of my server. So I can copy this, I can paste this URL here, of course, and then I will put internet, no authentication. These are all purposes. System ID, I got to go and check in my SAP logon. Right click and go to properties, and you can see this is my system ID SF4. So I got, that's my system ID. Yeah. So all these properties you can create in a notepad file. So what I've done is I already created a notepad file, and just I will also share this notepad file in the training blog. You all can download, edit it, and put it in your system, and then done. Your configuration is done. Now make sure that you update the server details here according to your company server in this file in the URL. Okay, if your company is using HTTPS protocol, then you have to accordingly change the protocol here to HTTP or HTTPS. Okay, and then yeah, web id usage, these are all the properties which are mentioned here. So OData ABAP, which means I want to call the OData service from ABAP side. I want to consume OData from the web IDE. I want to execute my program with ABAP directly from web IDE, and I want to uh, develop using ABAP based OData service. I want to basically deploy and read projects from my ABAP system. So these are all the different usage from the web IDE point of view. Okay, then your 3-digit system ID and web ID enabled true, and client is 800 in my case. So this is my server details, my S4HANA server details, which is publicly accessible for me because from my local computer. Okay, now with this we will save this file. Now here comes a great catch. Those who create this file as a notepad file, it will get saved as txt, and we don't use txt. So what you got to do, must important is remove its extension from file. Okay guys, remove the extension. So first save this file, same name as the name of the server, 3-digit server id sf4, and you can see sf4 is also the server id, and the name also I'm keeping same. So save this file as a txt file, and once it is saved as a txt file, go back and change the extension to none, which means you got to remove .txt. So if I come back, and then once it is done, just go to your web id directory, go to web ide directory, and then just place this in the your web ide directory. In this folder you got to place this file, guys, very important. In this folder you got to place this file. So this is the initial configuration to be able to connect. So your web ide directory, and then this is the folder path. You got to go and place this file, and make sure that it doesn't have .txt extension or any extension. Okay, now there's a question from Farhan. Is the web id system the backend system name? No. When I started the class, what did I told you guys? Is this the backend system, the web id system? Is the web id system the backend system? Anybody? Is the web id system the backend system? Of course not. Look at the picture. With the picture, hope it's clear. Nowhere you give backend system. Then how will it communicate to backend system? Anybody? How will system communicate to backend system? RFC, perfect answer. You all are right. So I already discussed about it that your backend system is connected to front end via secure RFC, system alias concept. So you don't have to worry about it. They both are connected. They both are communicating already. Okay. Now there's another question from Raji. Are these values fixed? Yes, these values are fixed. You don't change these values, otherwise you'll have a problem. Okay, so once this is done, you got to place this file now inside of this folder. So of course your web id directory, eclipse config master service destination and destination folders. You can see I have gone to my system and I've placed this file in my destinations folder in web ide folder. Yeah, and then I have removed the .txt also from it. I just kept sf4. That's it. We are done. Just restart your Orion server and let's see the magic. Let me start my Orion server, guys. So where is web IDE directory when we are using HCP? When you're using HCP, there is no web IDE directory as such. You have a destination concept in HCP already. I will just show you. However, this is covered in one of my YouTube video. I will show you that YouTube video also and HCP also. So first let me go to hcp.sap.com. Maybe I directly go to my cockpit for HCP. So I already have created an HCP account. Or maybe I just go to HCP. In the meantime, I'll also show you if you are using web IDE from HANA Cloud Platform, your SAP Cloud Platform. In that case, what is that you need, and how do you also integrate your Amazon Web Server with the CAL? So if you're using a CAL based OData OData server, and you want to connect your Web IDE which is running on HCP to be able to communicate, how can you do that using Cloud Connector? So watch out this video, ABAP on HANA Cloud CAL integration. You see this video. This video will help you to understand between two cloud systems how we are communicating using Cloud Connector, how to set up your communication in HANA Cloud Platform, which is running Web IDE, to be able to read and store the data using OData services in Web IDE in HCP. So watch out this video, and you will get to know how to use HANA Cloud Connector to be able to communicate things. Okay. Now coming back, I'll just quickly log in just to show you where you maintain these destinations. So here you maintain it in a file. However, in HANA Cloud Platform, those who are using HCP, we have a section where we have, yes, SCP is the new name. SAP Cloud Platform. SCP is the new name of HANA Cloud Platform. Earlier it was known as HANA Cloud Platform. Now it is known as SCP, SAP Cloud Platform. So I go to new trial, and you can see connectivity destinations. So you can see I have created a destination here. See, E4H, ABAP for HANA system. This is my CAL destination, guys. My CAL server destination I have created. Clear, everybody? How to create destination in HANA Cloud Platform? Those who are using HCP for creating your Fiori applications, you can use this over here. Now make sure if you are trying to connect your on-premise system, you got to need an HANA Cloud Connector in the middle, which is already taught in my video. I just showed you in a minute back. This is the YouTube video. Watch out. You'll understand what is HANA Cloud Connector. Why do we need it? What if there is no Cloud Connector required? In which case HCC is not required, in which case it is required, how to set up HANA Cloud Connector, how to configure a connection using HANA Cloud Connector, how to whitelist the URL path. Uh, all these things, including creating destination in HCP, is all taught in this video of ABAP on HANA. Okay, guys, so please watch out this video, very, very helpful. So maybe I think you should start watching it from 1 hour 8 minute. Okay, 1 hour 8 minute you should start watching. You see I'm creating an HCP account. You see HANA Cloud Connector, on-premise system, everything I taught in this video. Very, very helpful. Knowledge is all there on internet or with me. It's just you need to know which is the right video, which is the right point to get this knowledge. Okay, knowledge is all there. Every single scenario I have covered it, majority of them of course by as of today, which people are in need. Okay, and there are more requests which are lying with me. I will, as and when get time, I would create them as well. Okay, so now coming back, I'll just put the link of this video also, copy video URL in the PPT. So those who have interest in knowing how to use HANA Cloud Connector and other stuff, or use your Web IDE to connect via destination in SCP. SAP Cloud Platform is the new name. We'll only put SCP, not HCP. Yeah, clear, everybody? So that's about it. And now I'll just, yeah, come back. So hope this answer your question. Where do you create destination? So you can see it's almost same way. You put name, type, description, location ID, and then you put your URL. Proxy type is internet or on-premise. No authentication, and you see Web ID enabled, Web ID system, Web ID usage, OData ABAP, Dev ABAP, and UI5 ABAP. All these usage we had put it clearly over here. Okay. Yes, you need configuration in HANA Cloud Connector if you're trying to connect to your on-premise system, which is restricted only to your company intranet. So you want to go to internet based consumption, you got to go with um, HANA Cloud Connector. Okay. Yeah. So watch out that video. If I start explaining all these things again, it will never end. So there is never ending demand, but yet I'm there. I'm committed to solve your problems, for which at least I guide you if I cannot personally talk about that topic directly into the point, into the course, into the video. Okay. Now, once this is done, you can see I have saved it. So this is the complete file. I will also upload it in our training blog SF4. You can download and try this out. And I have then placed this file in our folder already. And now what I do is just start my web IDE. Let me just go and show you now my local web IDE. And let's start creating our project using OData service, which we had built yesterday, guys. So let's come in. So now, yeah, that's it. So let me just go ahead and create a new project. So now watch out, guys. So we're going to create a project from template. We are not going to write every single artifact. This is the way you should start creating a project in your company. Now I will ask a couple of questions. Let's see who is really my student who has watched this course completely from scratch. पूरा जो गोट के पी गया है. Let's see. Let me ask this question. How many of you will be able to tell I want participation in this? Let's see how many of you have real knowledge gain over a period of time. So first I'll choose here, let's say master detail application. And you can see here the version of SAP UI5 you can choose. Very important. Sometimes your version in the server is less than the version which you choose here. And when you deploy this app to ABAP system, it will not work. How do you check what's the version of UI5 in your server? Go to transaction SICF and come here and put service path as service name as UI5 underscore UI5, execute, and you can see public BC UI5. Right click on that, test your service, allow, and now you will see in a minute it will load and tell me the information about the UI5 version I am having. You see, I am having 1.44.8 is the latest UI5 version which I have in the server. Latest is 1.52. Okay, but in this server the latest which is deployed is 1.44.8. In my advanced training I showed how to change this, how to download from service marketplace and update the UI5 version inside the SAP server. This is covered in my latest UI5 training, which is launchpad and extensibility training. Okay, so now I close this and I say next. So this is absolutely okay. It will work when I deploy later. And I can give a project name, Anubhav final project. Say next. And now it's the time to choose the destination. And you see, I have my S4 HANA server already available. Why only one server is added here? Anybody? Why only one server is available over here? Why not all my servers? Why only one server? Because come on, you have just maintained one destination in this. That's why only one server. If you want your quality, your production, your different servers, create one file for each, and accordingly you will see all the servers. Is that clear to everybody? That's why we maintain only server data, never OData. And now I choose this server. Watch out, it will pop me up for credentials. Let me provide the credentials. Press enter and voila, it loaded all the OData services from my system, isn't it? All the OData services. And you remember the OData service which we created yesterday? Anybody? It was somewhere APR, April, APR, let me type, and voila, you see my OData service available here. I choose this OData service for dummies. I say next, and now I'll just choose an application type. It's yes, we wanted to integrate it Fiori Launchpad later on. I want application title as my products, namespace as your company namespace, whatever namespace you would like to give. If you remember in Fiori like app, we gave Iron Man as our namespace or Superman as a namespace. And I just give a proper name. So I say my company name, let's say for example, IBM dot, and I'm working, let's say in IBM TLP department. So I can say TLP. That's how you give namespace for your project. And then you say here, my product catalog. And now I can come here and choose object collection, and you see all the entity sets which we have created are available. So I choose product set entity set. I choose ID as product ID, name as the title of the product. I say price, and I see currency code in the type. So you see all the properties it has read from the metadata of OData service which it is using. On the right hand side screen, if you have any association, you can put associated data. For example, if I want to list down for this product, it's available in which are all sales orders, I can list them down. Okay, fine. Now what do we get in object collection? Numeric attribute, unit of measure. I did not get your point. You can, of course, right now this is initial configuration, you can go back and adapt your code. This will generate an initial setup of your application, but yes, you are further able to edit the code later point of time. So don't worry if you've given something or miss something here or not able to give something here, then that's something which you can adapt later point of time. That the knowledge I gave you already. Okay. How to select multiple entity sets? You cannot. Only one is allowed for master and one is allowed for detail. As I mentioned just now, rest all the activities your Fiori knowledge. That's why I say people who start their first day with creating project from template, they will nowhere reach. They will reach nowhere. Why? Reason is very simple. They are not having right knowledge. This is the people. I mean, this approach is only for experts. Okay, or या तो really experts or yeah really dumb. Really dumb means who don't know anything, who watched some internet tutorial and somehow created a Fiori app. But when it comes to changing, it will become hell for them to change this app because they don't have a right knowledge. Let me finish this and see what gets generated and show you up guys what gets generated. Now anybody, first question, what is controller? Do you know controller? Okay, just answer yes or no. Do you know controller? Did I teach you controller? Yes. If I go inside, do you know app.controller.js? Did I teach you app.controller.js? Do you know that? Yes. Do you know what is scaffolding template? Do you know scaffolding template? Yes or no? Do you know scaffolding? Yes, I taught you that. Okay. So do you know the namespace? What is namespace? Do you know the namespace? What is namespace? Do you know the namespace, guys? Is it possible that you know namespace? Yes, you know namespace. Now let's come down. Do you know what is i89.properties file? What you keep in this file? Yes, you know i89 files. Very good. Do you know the model and do you know the formatter.js? Yes, internationalization. Do you know formatter.js? Yes, you know. Do you know the model.js where you create models, extra models, and you use them later point of time with the scaffolding? All that with the scaffolding, guys. Yeah. Do you know? Okay, right now forget about test folder and local service folder. That's for mock server and unit testing. For unit testing, I'll create a video. However, the mock server is covered in my advanced Fiori training, not here at the moment. Do you know the view app.view.xml? Do you know the app.view.xml? What is app.view.xml? Yes, it is a starting point, launching point from component.js. And do you know these views? Master detail, very good. That's anyways views. Do you know component.js? Do you know component.js? What is it? Yes. Do you know manifest.json? What is manifest.json? Do you know that? Manifest.json, yes. Yeah. Do you know the data sources maintained in manifest.json? Your URL path for OData service. This is where your OData service is given. So if any project you get, you want to know OData service name, go to manifest.json, main service section, and here is your OData service name with which you connected. Clear, everybody? Is this clear what we learned? Of course, I missed two topics, which are again not part of the current course, part of advanced course. However, for OPA and unit testing, I will give you a YouTube video. This is not yet covered in any of my trainings. I will do that, but rest all, I guess you all know what has been done. Now, do you think it is possible for somebody to go ahead and edit this project without having proper knowledge what we gained in this course, line by line, every single artifact we understand? Does it make sense? Can anybody go and change in this code without having proper knowledge? They can, but they will be stuck somewhere one or the other day. This is what we learned in complete course, which is generated out of box with Web IDE. And now you're free. You are able to edit anything what you like. Let me just run this first and show you. Now, before we run, tell me, where did I tell? Now maybe you may have, let's say, 5 destination, you have 5 different systems. How will your project know that which system it needs to connect to talk to this OData? How does your project knows that if you have, let's say, 5 destinations created? Okay, you have, let's say, 3 destinations created, one for dev, one for q, and one for p. You want to run your project for dev, later on for q, and maybe for p. So maybe you got a bug, okay, in quality. You want to connect to quality and test. You got a bug in production. You want to connect to production and test, because data is there only in quality and production. There is no data in dev. How do you connect the same project with these 3 different destination based on the need to need basis? How do you do that? Anyone? No. Will you go and change this file every time? Will you go and change this file every time, this one single file every time? Not a flexible approach. You cannot afford to change the file every time. What do? That's why we have a concept of new app.json. neoapp.json, which I also did not cover yet. Now let's look at it's right time to jump to this guy. No heavy dose of antibiotic given to any one of you. It's the right time to look into this concept of neoapp.json. This is what your interface file is. Okay, this is what your interface file is. Now in the manifest.json, you never give your full path. What if happens if I give here my http development system port? What happens, guys, if I do this? What mistake I did? If I do this and deploy this project to my Fury, to my ABAP system, and release it to quality in production, what will happen? Anybody? If you do that, you have hard coded your development system URL. It will always connect to development system. Even your even your code reach to quality, it will connect to dev system for OData. And you will come and say, अनुभव मेरा तो ओ डेटा और डेवलपमेंट सिस्टम का डेटा दिखा रहा है, मैं क्या करूं? अरे कैसे करोगे? गलत कर दिया सारा काम, हार्ड कोड कर दिया डेवलपमेंट सिस्टम तुमने. How will it work? Many of the student comes up and they say, Anubhav, I'm trying to run my project. Everything is good. I've developed everything without copy paste. I was able to transport my project to quality. When I run in quality, or when they are running in quality, they seeing no data from quality. They see the data from dev system. Very natural thing. You've hard coded the URL. System is just following your instruction. You are telling system, take the data always from dev system. Of course, it will go and take the data from dev system, right? How will it work? So never hard code your user, your system information here, guys. Never ever hard code it. Okay. So now just put this path. Now you'll say, Anubhav, how will it know which system it has to connect to? It's very simple. That's where neoapp.json comes into picture. In neoapp.json, what you do is you will say a path. You will say if there is a path starting with SAP OPU OData, which you can see your OData service always starts with SAP OPU OData, which means if this is the starting path of any access, Anybody trying to access this, anything starting this path of SAP OPU OData, what you need to do, talk to destination SF4. What is the destination SF4? This is the destination SF4. Now tomorrow, if you want to connect same project to a different destination, where will you go and change, guys? Where will you go and change tomorrow if you want to test it with a different system? Where will you go and change? Anybody? Where will you go and change tomorrow? Yes, just change this name here. So maybe let's say I have another system. Maybe right now, since I don't have another system, maybe just demonstrating it. Let's say this is your prod system. Okay, this is your prod system. It has now prod details. Now if I want to connect to prod system, I come here and say PRO, save it, done. Done, guys, done. Nothing else, done. It will now connect to my prod system, guys. Clear, everybody? The usage of Neo app JSON. Similarly, if you look at the bootstrapping which we are doing in SAP UI 5, so if I go to test folder where I have my testing files for Fiori, and if you see the bootstrapping slash resources slash SAPUI core JS, anything starting with slash resources. I didn't give bootstrapping here from internet CDN now. It is starting with just slash resources slash UI core JS. So if you see slash resources and go to new app JSON, you see what does the slash resources means. The slash resources means a service which is a default service available with Web IDE to be able to load UI5 framework. Okay, UI5 framework will be loaded in Web IDE with the help of this from locally from Web IDE itself, because you chose the version 1.44 and the version is also here. Tomorrow if you want to test, your user is complaining that app is not loading properly with 1.32, come here and just change it to 1.32 and test it, because slash resources means load the UI5 framework uh, with the standard or standard service in Web IDE. This is a standard service in Web IDE with which it will load, and you can put the version over here. So it will run the same app in a different version, and you can identify with the local testing your issues inside the project if at all there is a need. So all these are written in the new app JSON. It's an interface file, and this file, do we need to deploy this file in the SAP server? Do we need to deploy this file in SAP server? There is no need. It's only for local interfacing of Web ID, your local Web ID, because this destination is only for local testing we created, right? So that we can create the project, test the project, build everything, and then finally deploy to gateway and ship it. When it is delivered to gateway, anyways, your gateway is going to talk to this manifest, and manifest tells the gateway which URL it has to connect for OData. When it reaches to quality, same URL will be used. When it reaches to production, accordingly same URL will be used, because you're not hard coding the host name and port number. It automatically append the host name and port number based on the system in which you are running. Clear, everyone? Manifest JSON and new app JSON. And then those files which you don't want to deploy to your gateway server, there is a file called .project file, which I was also talking yesterday. Here you see they have excluded, the test folder, they excluded the test.html file. You can also say I don't want new app.json file to be deployed to the server. All that you can put it here actually in this section, build section. Okay, with that, now let's move on and test our application. No, we should not exclude it. Actually, we don't exclude, because sometimes another developer would like to check out the project from ABAP. Imagine in your company don't use Git repository. So if another developer needs to check out this, if new app.json is not present, not deployed, then he will have a problem finding this new app JSON and able to communicate to the local destination. That will be a problem for him. Okay, so that's the reason we don't exclude it. We deploy still, but it's of no use for gateway. When it reaches to gateway, it's of no use. Gateway completely uh, do not use this file. Gateway only talk to manifest JSON to be able to read the OData. And since here you didn't put full path, it's just the path prefix, sorry, just the half path, which is actually the real path of OData. So it will automatically now know which OData it has to connect to which system you are into. Okay, now let's execute this project, and you should see in a second a complete master detail. Yes, it's asking me username, password, of course, and you would see in a minute the complete your application gets loaded over here. Voila, beautiful. See how fast we are able to build an app using WebID. And you see this object name here. Where are all the labels comes from? Where are all the labels comes from? Who will tell me? Where are all the labels comes from? Perfect answer, Archana. It all comes from IIT. There must be some label which it is coming from. And if you come here, you see object name here. Clearly, you can just do Control F, again Control F, and say this is my products. Replace all. Save this. Come back. Refresh the page. You would see all the places the label has been changed. Products. Clear, everybody? All the places the label has been changed to products. Is that clear, everyone? And now you see on the top in the URL, can you see the root match handler? It's putting the product name on the top, which means every back and forth navigation would also naturally will work. Right, guys? That's the power of root match handler. You remember we did that root match handler, putting the path prefix into the URL. That's what we also did. Okay, now it's time to implement some piece of code. So maybe what I want to do is I want to display now pictures here. You remember in this OData service we have exported the pictures yesterday. So how can we display now those pictures at front of it? Or maybe I want to show some more information, so I can go back. Which view you think this will be? Which view do you think this will be? This left side section, which view do you think it will be? Master view. Let's go and search out in the view section. So view, and voila, you see master view.xml. Do you all, does this code look familiar to you? Does this code look familiar to you? Does this code look familiar to you? Of course, there are too many things in this because they generate a full blown application. You don't really need to worry about so much of it, but yet you understand what is a list control, what is an items, what is an object list item, right? So where do we add new property to be able to display it in here in the list items? Where shall we add new property? Anybody? Any guess? Where shall we add a new property if you want to display in the list? You don't remember? Don't know? Where do we add new property? In object list item we got to add it to display it in the list. So maybe I just come here, and in the object list item I add an aggregation attributes, and now I just say object attribute, and I can say now here icon, or maybe I can say uh, text. I think it's text property, and then I can just do the binding, and I can also say title. I'm not sure which property really works well with object attribute, but yet I'm suscepting. And now you see the binding with OData entity set. Slash product set is the entity set of OData service with which it is binding. The same way you did binding in JSON model, isn't it? Same way you did binding in JSON model, right? Entity set name slash fruits. If you remember, we did a binding here. The model is OData model. Hence, you just put the binding slash product set. If I just try and show you running this dummy. Yes, I'll just go to our OData service product set. You can see it will get me all the product information, and this is my entity set slash product set. Let's do it in question mark dollar format equals to JSON. Press enter, and you will see in a minute that yes, all the data is displayed. So what is your entity set name here? Slash products in OData product set. This is your entity set name. Same has been added over here in WebIDE slash product set you're calling. Okay, now let's come down. So this is now which path you call this, which path the name is, which path you call this, anybody, which is this path name, what you call this path? Relative path, perfect answer. So you have your absolute path given at the items level, at the list level, slash product set is the absolute path. And now relative to that, you have given the path over here as a relative path in the list items. You see here, this is relative path. So you got to give all the relative paths here. Suppose I want to display more information like supplier ID. So I can come here and put supplier ID. That's my relative path. Save this, come back and refresh. You would see now supplier ID will be additionally displayed along with every list item inside of my list control. And you see, can you see supplier ID, title, and the description is displayed. So maybe I just say title as supplier ID and just come and display that once again. So it will now show you the supplier ID as a title of that object attribute and supplier ID information. You see it is displaying. Wow, so nice. Okay. Device model is for what purpose? Device model is not actually for any functioning. It is just giving created in the system for the purpose to tell whether this app is running in mobile or this app running in desktop. So there are some predefined settings with which we can get to know if this app is being executed in mobile or is it being executed in desktop or it is running in tablet. So for that they created a device model in which they are storing these runtime details. Okay, so if I just quickly come back and show you the device model, in models you see they are creating a device model. It's a one-way model, JSON model device, and there is a ready to use file dependency which SAP gives, SAP UI device information, which you can just add it here to create this JSON model, global JSON model. In this now, when you read this device model with its name, okay, you will get to know whether it is running the app in a mobile or tablet or desktop. Sometimes you got to do some additional stuff. Like I remember one case where they were running the Fury in mobile. They wanted to know, is it running in mobile or is it running in desktop? If it's running in mobile, I want to disable the keyboard. Yeah, so this kind of things, how do you do context specific programming, device specific programming? You need some information, right? You need some place where you can read this information ki bhaiya kahan chal rahi hai. So accordingly you can write your code, right? Your format or whatsoever places where you need, you can write it. So that's where the device model gets created automatically inside of this standard application. See guys, again I repeat, everything is not useful at this moment. Your main context with which you will be working is views and controllers. Okay, views and controllers, you don't need to understand every single bit of it. As and when you progress, you would need some information. Now tomorrow there's a need that you want to check username, what's the username who connected to SAP Fury app. Now you see, create FLP model, here they are getting the username, which is the current user connected to SAP Fury app, like Sai Uname in ABAP, right? So when the need comes, that time you will come and explore these things, and then you will find, acha, yahan pe ye username, you will know now ki which is the user in front end who is connected to Fury app. You want to do some specific thing based on that user. So however, we never do that. We don't do a coding in ABAP also with Sai Uname, right? We don't do that. But yeah, sometime if you want to know the username just in case, then it may be helpful to read that information, and that's available with FLP model. Okay, we have used OData model but isn't referring the JSON model. Why? We have used all models here. If you go to manifest.json file, you see your models section in manifest JSON where we create all the models. So you see I-attendant models. We have also used this OData model as a default model. So your default model in this case is OData model. That's why you see when I'm doing binding, I don't put a model name before. If it's a name model, then I would have put like OData arrow or something. But since it's not a named model, OData model is always set to be default model for an entire app. And that's what is being done. That's why your slash product set is working. It's automatically calling the backend OData service and reading the product information. You want to see that? Let's come here, Press F12 and refresh the app. Go to network call. In here now you will get the list of all the calls which your Fiori app is making to backend. Let's refresh and you see these calls. Most important one is dollar batch. So if you come to dollar batch and you come down, you see it has automatically called product set entity set count because it has to display this 125. Then which option do you use for paging in OData? Anybody? If you don't want to load all 125 products, you just want to load first 20 products, which option do you think we used in OData? Dollar top skip? Do you need to create dollar top skip call yourself in Fiori? Answer is no. Fiori understand it so well, the OData, it automatically does it. And voila, see, product set, skip zero record, load only 20 records. See guys, load only 20 records for me, which means it has just loaded 20 products. Your performance will never go bad. These are all the things which an inexperienced developer don't know and gets naturally handled when they create project using web IDE, using template, because template takes care of all these things. In fact, not even just template, it's the feature of list control, which I will show you in a minute what is controlling this 20. And now watch out, I clear the network call and let me scroll down. Once I reaches to 20th product, okay, once I reaches to 20th product, you see again another call was made. And now what do you think it will be in this call? Initially we loaded 20 product. What will be in this call now? Anybody? What will be in this call? Skip 20, perfect answer, and load next 20. Very good, Samir. You are really a student, and you see skip first 21 which were earlier loaded and load next 19. That's what it does. See guys, this is what I was telling the other day. Fiori understand OData so well that it talks to OData automatically. Imagine you would have developed this app using HTML. You got to handle this dollar top, skip, filter, order by, select yourself, right? That's the power of Fiori. It understands it so well, and in the back end you have the code to just return these many records. So that's why it's responsive. It never hampers your performance, guys. Never ever hampers your performance. If you would have coded and directly binded entity set, uh, probably it wouldn't have the same situation. Now, which property? So yesterday somebody was asking how do you do paging? Which properties is taking care of it? And you see there's a property called growing property. Growing is true, and you can see also the growing threshold is not given. So if I give growing threshold, okay, growing threshold property, and let me give this property value as 50, what will happen now guys? If I give growing threshold as 50, what will happen? What do you think will happen when I give growing threshold as 50? It will load top 50 record in first chunk. Watch out. Press F12 again, refresh your app. It will load top 50, dollar top equal to 50. Now this is my call. You see it is taking more time now to load because it has to load more data. Okay, and you come down to the request and watch here. Can you see dollar top equal to 50? So that's what is controlling paging inside of a list control, guys. The documentation is already there for the list for growing and growing threshold property, but you see here the magic. The moment I change it, it changes here in the dollar top. Do you see how it is communicating to OData based on your property values? Clear, everybody? Top 50. This is what we give growing threshold. And now if I just clear this and just scroll down to the last record, $50, you see next call was made, and now again it will load next 50 records. You see next 50 records, it's trying to load 49 next records, 51 records already loaded. Load the 49th record please for me. Yeah, that's what the threshold property does. Now if I remove both of these growing and growing threshold, what will happen? Your list will now not make any call to do paging, which means it will try and load everything in one shot from backend. Everything, guys, in one shot from backend, which would lead to performance issues if you have huge amount of data in backend. Now let's come back and check this call. Let's look at this down, and you see it has put by default, it is put as 100. Again, safeguarding is being done because there is another property somewhere which is making it 100 just to avoid performance issues, because many times people don't have knowledge, they create an app and they simply load everything which would never load their app. Sometimes it has been observed, people, because they don't use knowledge and then they complain SAP ki performance of Fiori is bad. That's why SAP recommend to use template to create Fiori apps. Okay, clear everybody? The default value of growing threshold is 10. So if you just put growing property, don't put threshold, the default value is 10, which means, sorry, 20. Default value is 20. So by default only 20 record gets loaded initially. Okay, so that's how dollar top skip. And similarly, if you do a search here, watch out now, I'll show you all the network calls one by one. So now I come and do a search here, and now let's say I say search for webcam. Anybody, which request OData request we made to be able to do a search, which OData request we made to demonstrate search? No, I know it's a get, of course. Dollar top skip is also a get request. Which operator in OData you used to search? Perfect answer, Minakshi. She is going right. We use dollar filter substring of, yes, Lokesh, you are also right. Dollar filter substring of the column name, comma, search string equals to true. That's what we manually did. Press enter. Watch this call. Come down and see this. Let's come down. Can you see dollar filter substring of webcam in the name? Clearly, guys, you see that's the beauty of using Fiori. It does it so well automatically for you. You don't have to do all this thing yourself. Do you get meaning what I say? Anybody? Is this clear? What is happening behind the scenes? It's making calls to backend. So whenever you're stuck, you have a fight with your ABAPer, or you are on a ABAP side, you have a fight with UI developer. If you are all rounder, very good, you can do everything on your own. But if you sometimes see discrepancy in data, something not working, that is probably because in the backend. So you are sending a filter from here, but did it filter the data on the front end? Did it only filter webcams, guys? Did it filter webcams for you? It did not. What is the reason? Who will tell me what's the reason? It did not filter the records. Will it do it automatically? Will the filter be done automatically? Your job as a UI developer is to send the filter. It's the backend developer job to implement the filter. We have not yet implemented. This is the OData service I generated. I did not write the code, guys. This is an OData service I generated. It was service generation technique. We didn't code any filter. Okay, we didn't code any filter in this OData service. That's why it's not filtering, which means backend में code ही नहीं है ABAP में filtering करने का. कैसे चलेगा? So ABAP and UI both has to be in sync. You got to see if you're sending right thing from UI, same will be received by backend, and backend has to now handle it. Clear, everyone? How the communication is happening between these two layers, backend and front end? Yeah. Now let's move on and see how can we add. So we talked about destination, neo app JSON. We talked about the growing, the paging capability. We talked about why to choose template to create Fiori applications. Okay, it's always a better way. And then now we will see how can we show an image over here. Okay, so we created an OData with a dollar value, and if I show you for one of the product, maybe this HT1000, if I go here and just put slash dollar value, I press enter, you would see the image which is stored in the backend system will be displayed. You can see it got downloaded in my browser. I'll just open this photo. Oops, why it's asking many times? I don't know why it's asking like this, but it should have got downloaded in my downloads folder. Yes, here it is. It's not opening, I don't know. Okay, some problem, guys. System is unable to open this file. So this is, but however, this is an image. Now what we got to do is we got to display these product images in the list control here at the front. So we will go back, and you see in the list object list item we have an icon property. So maybe just right now just put an icon from SAP standard, SAP hyphen icon colon slash slash product, some icon. Come back and refresh. Now you'll see a standard SAP icon will be displayed at front of every list item. Okay, At front of every list item, you can see it has put an icon. Now this should be replaced with the product picture, which you have it in the backend, which you coded yesterday. Okay, so that one, now what do? We got to here put the picture URL. So now the property which was used was product pic URL, but this will not help you. Let me show you. I press F12 and see what happens. Also make sure that you press F12, go to network and watch. See, it's trying to load all the pictures, but yet from your local system with this path. Is this the right path to load the picture? Is this the right path to load the picture? Answer is no. The path to load a picture is slash SAP OPU data, your OData service name, slash product set, slash your product ID, unique ID, slash dollar value. So you now have to do a formatting. You have to apply a formatter that before the binding takes place, the right path has to go to the binding. Then only it will load the right picture. So let's go ahead and add a formatter. So this product pic URL is still important because it has the product ID inside, but yet this will not help because the path is incorrectly built. We have to pass the right path. So first thing is path, again product pic URL, and then just add a formatter, and I say dot formatter dot prepare URL. Save this. Now I just use prepare URL, and I just come to prepare URL, just go to our formatter, and you see everything is ready-made generated. You could just have to go and start editing your code. Your code is generated out of box. All the learning which I gave you is now useful. So here now, sorry, you get the product pic URL here, and now from this picture URL we got to build the real path of the OData service to be able to bind it so that it can read the information correctly from the system. So now what we do is we are going to take the path from the OData. So this is the complete path. Let me just first show you testing this. So I just come here and simply return the path as hard-coded path. Right now I'm giving that dollar value. Watch out now. So now I'm giving the correct path to the system. This is the path for picture I'm giving. Come back and refresh. And now when the binding takes place, you will watch, it will go and get the pictures for that hard-coded product from the backend system, and it should now display that picture. Since the volume of data is so high, it's taking time, but yet, wow, you see pictures are getting displayed. But now, is this the right approach? Are all the product have same picture? Anyone? Are all the product have same pictures? Of course not. Your every product has different picture, so you got to take the picture ID from product pic URL. Okay, so I have to do a little bit of string operations. So I say var product ID. I'm going to derive this, and for that I'm going to do a little bit of operations. So I say this dot split based on slash, and I'm just going to get the last element dot length -1. So that's what gives me the product picture name.jpg. And finally I got to remove this replace .jpg from this with the space. So that's what I got. Now the product name, now this product name goes here, as simple as that. So just concatenate. Done, guys, done. Let's come back, refresh the page. That's the magic of formatter. So all my knowledge which I gained over the period of time is I'm applying that knowledge here in the system, because formatter allows me to do changes before the binding takes place for the URL. I tweak the URL based on every product ID which I have, and then let's see what happens. Oops, if nothing is working, press F12 and see the network call. Why something is not working? So let's come back and test it once again. You can go and check out the network call, what is going wrong. If there's something wrong, you can always check that why something is failing. So now it's reading, and you see there's a problem. It's putting something at the end. So you see JPG is still kept, guys. .jpg is still kept in the file. However, we removed it. Which string function do you use to remove it? I think I forgot to replace it and put it back. That was the problem. So I replaced it, but it I did not reset the text. That's why I think the issue is. And I just refresh again. And let's wait for it to load the pictures. And do you see different pictures for different products, guys? Now, do you see different pictures for different products? It's loading up, guys. Voila. Wow. Amazing. See, different pictures for different products. You see, what an amazing example. Congratulations, guys. Your first Fury application using Fury template. You can fill in these things. You can add tables, drop down, select boxes, navigation using router. Everything which I taught you will now be in action. You can go ahead and adopt this Fury application with the knowledge what you've gained in this course. Clear, everyone? Yeah. How do you do create finally? So let me show you adding a new view. So what I do is I just go to detail view, do a control copy and paste of detail view again, and I say add view. Okay, go inside this add view. I don't want anything right now to be kept except these things which are pretty common. So I say detail. Sorry, I say ID as add, and in the content I don't want to keep anything. I don't want to keep anything in the content of this actually. Yeah, I'll remove this content, and I just keep don't want to keep these buttons also at the bottom. And now inside of this content I want to design my input fields to create a new product. Let's change the view name also to add. Everything looks good. Your new view is ready, and I want to add a simple form in this. I can go to UI5 SDK and just check a place where I can find a simple form. So a lot of samples are there. Go ahead and do copy paste. You are now experts in UI5. You know what is the code means, each code means. Go ahead and do copy paste. Search for a simple form. Here it is. You see lots of different samples. I can go to one of them and I can just switch, and that's my change fragment. I'll take this simple form code as it is, come back, paste it, and let's define the form namespace. Save this, and let's see what's going wrong. Layout namespace is also not maintained right yet, so layout namespace. Yeah, save this, and there are these properties which are causing issues, so let's remove them. No problem. I don't think so they are causing any issue as such. Yeah, core namespace is not given, so let me also give the core namespace. Yeah, done. So my add view is ready, guys. It's so simple. And now let's create an add controller. So let's copy the detail controller, paste it again, and just create an add controller, and come inside and just change it to add here. The controller name, very important. In on it, let's keep everything as it is. We don't need much of the coding. So I'll just comment out this piece of code from on init. I just remove all the other code except root match handler, which I probably needed in future. You all know the root match handler code. So this is on root match handler, which you can keep it actually. And the router path for this I will be giving as add later point of time. And we can write some code later on in here. Rest all the code not needed. I'm just removing it. That's your controller, which is now ready in seconds. You see, this is how I built My Fury apps. Whenever I get a new assignment, I create it from template and I start editing things quite faster, copy paste it. Speed is what comes out with this. And now we are done. You can see the router is for add, and let's give an add a routing configuration for this to load this add view now on click of a button. So we got to add a button. It's already there in a detail view. So if you go to detail view, there is a button already, something called share with jam or share email. So maybe I use share in jam, and the press is doing this on share in jam press, and I can just go ahead and write this code in on share in jam press. And what I can do is I can just use my router to say nav to my add. So nav to API, let's see. So we got to use our router object. Did we define a router? Yes, this dot get router, and then I say nav to, and I just give the path here for navigation. You can also see the sample navigation code just here because we are navigating. You see nav2 and the path we are giving actually. So let's give the path, and I want to navigate to add, or I want to give the name to this Anubhav. And watch out, now I'll just go to manifest.json. This is all I taught you guys in the previous classes. Let's define a root. So I come here and define a root. So copy this root for detail, add a new root, and let's name this root as add. Name of the root is Anubhav. Target is master and add. And let's define a target, add target, and just say add target. And here the view name is add. View ID is whatever ID you want to assign it. ID add, I want to assign it. Done. Your routing configuration is done to load the new view. Okay, this is also done. And now when you click on the share in jam button, I'm navigating to this new view. Let's go ahead and test it. Let's come back and refresh. You're going to get a button. On click of the button, system would navigate you to the add view which you have recently created. So let it load, and I see this button share in jam. We don't have that button displayed over here. I don't know why. Maybe I think it's save as style. No, there was a button which expected and it didn't come. Maybe I'll just add another button completely inside of detail view on which we will call this. So this is the action name. Let's go to detail view, and I will just add it. So I don't know how to add a toolbar item, how to add a toolbar content in this semantic based namespace. I'm not sure about it. So maybe I'll just use this save as style ka action. I will change it to press. Actually, it's a bookmark button. Maybe send email. I'm changing the action name to share with jam. Maybe we can use the send email wala action handler. So let's come back. You can go and check again semantic page in UI5 SDK and find out what to do to be able to add new button here in the detail. So click here and now say send email. It should now navigate to your add page. You see on the top the root have changed to add page, but there's something wrong because of that. It's not working. So go to console, cannot read property attach pattern match of undefined. In the add controller, it cannot understand. Yes, because your root name is add a capital. So let's come back to add controller. Just change this to add capital. That's your root name. Come back and refresh. You're already on the root. You're already on the root, guys. So it should reload the state of the UI. You can see on the top, the hashtag is already set to /add. It should directly take us to the add view already. If not, then maybe we can try. In fact, nothing is working. Press F12. And there's again an error. Here is an error. Maybe for time being, I will comment out this code. I think the root name is Anubhav, not add, guys. Yes, root name is Anubhav. Let's go to manifest and check the root name. Name of the root is Anubhav, guys. It's not add. This is the name, and that's the name you should give it in the add controller here. Here you got to give it. Now let's come back and test. Okay, it loads my detail view at the beginning. and I'll just click here and say send as email, and voila, you see it loads my new view. And now I can give some product name, Fiori. I can give some product ID in this HT hyphen or maybe AB hyphen 9099, and maybe I can click on save button, and on click of that save button it should then save the product in the backend. How do we create such a post request? It's very simple. You got to just use OData model to do that. I'll show you it in a minute, but let me just change a little bit of these labels. So maybe I'll just come back to my add view now. So first part is we created a view, we launched the view using routing, and now the product name, and I'll just say next is this product ID, and I'll just give the ID to the input field as prod ID, and ID to this field is name. Rest all fields I don't need at the moment. I'm just removing them, or I'm just commenting them out. So I have just two fields, product name and product ID. Let's also change the label for this guy. Address it was earlier showing. So ideally all your labels should be in I18N file. Remember, that's an important point. And here it is, create your product. And let me add a save button here itself. So I say button, text. Of course, your text should always come from I18N, but I'm just putting it here. Press on save. And let's say on save, go to add controller, function, and let's prepare your payload. So what's the payload? This is your payload to save the record in the system. That's your payload. Right now I'm hard coding the payload, var payload, except the product ID and other things I'm hard coding everything. So that's my payload, curly braces. That's my payload, guys. Okay, that's your payload for posting the data to the backend system. And I just little format this. Okay, very nice. And let's give here these things in double quotes. That's the standard JSON format. That property name should be in double quotes. Now you must be wondering, I'm going with a very super speed. This is what real time is. Real time needs super speed, guys. If you're working in a project, you will always run behind beating timelines, and that's the reason people don't get time to learn. And if they don't learn, they won't even be able to reach here. So that's our payload to post from Fiori. Earlier we saw posting of this from the system. Yeah, that's my payload. And let me change the product description and name. So name should be according to what is there on UI. This dot get view dot by ID, and there's a field called name. I just get that and I say dot get value. Similarly, the product ID is what comes from prod ID. And you remember these two fields we had put it. One is prod ID and one is name. Clear? And let me put this description as hard-coded something. Of course, you can create input fields and each value you can take it from user from input fields. This is created from Fiori. And rest all the things I'm not touching. Just put price as 999 so that you can remember that's no faking. And our payload is now ready. Once the payload is ready, you need OData object. So you can get OData model is set as a default model for application. Sorry, for your yes application. So you can get that OData model object quite easily. You can say OData model, and this dot get view dot get model, because this is a default model for entire application. That's your OData model object. And now in this OData model object, you can say dot create put your entity set name product set, comma payload, comma curly braces. It will send you a response back in success, and you can say message here sap.m.message toast dot show, and I can put my message. Wow, magic. And no options at the moment. So we learned about these APIs in our unit number 22 by messages, and then we will also put for error what will happen in case it didn't work. So error is a default error object which you receive also from OData, where you can now do error handling based on your need. So maybe say some error occurred, so sap.m.message box API, message box API dot error, and I say oops, something went wrong. Okay, so that's your error, and now we're done. You can see odata.model.create is the method which you can call to send a post request on this entity set with this payload. On success, it shows a message. On fail, it shows an error message to the UI, and that's it, my code to send it from Fiori app. Come back and let's refresh. We should see it restore the state of the UI because your target is already on add, and see your new view got loaded here. Let me give a name of a product is Wow Anubhav, and I put product ID as BT-9090. Let me see in my database table if the BT-9090 is present. That's my DB table. And I check for product ID BT-9090. You see there is no record in the system at the moment. Let's do a shoot from Fiori and watch out F12, guys. In the F12, you'll go and know the network calls. Click on save. You see there's a call which is gone, and you can see it's a post request. Yeah, it's a post request on product set with this data has been sent to the backend. Okay, response haven't come yet. It's waiting for response to come. Once the response will come, if it creates the record successfully, you're going to get a pop-up message, a message at the bottom, which is a toast message. If it fails, then you're going to get an error message on the UI, because that's what you've done the handling. And if there is indeed a problem with your code, you're going to get that here. Any syntax error, if you have no syntax error, and you see some error have occurred, show details. So you see that's how error handling can be done in case something goes bad. So let's paste this and see this thing. Batch terminated, cause of termination is not known. There is a dump, guys, in st22. It's saying some writer JSON issue. Okay, some writer JSON issue is coming due to type conflict in assign program. There is some type conflict because of some property which is causing this issue, guys. I guess maybe keeping too many properties could be a problem at the moment. Let me just remove all of them, just keep very minimal properties at this time. So maybe just put very minimal properties at this time. We'll try one more time, guys. Hopefully it should work fine. It works actually. Usually I can come back, refresh. So yet again, it depends on type what you are putting in the system. So many times it so happen that you have type mismatch. So that's a natural thing. You can resolve, debug your ABAP code and resolve it. But yet I just want to demonstrate. So I say, wow, test. Text tariff code is in integer. I don't know. I took it from payload and directly pasted it. I'm not sure. Because I assume the payload, whatever comes out, is correct. Okay, and I say once again our product ID what we were keeping, BT9090. Save this. Let's see. Hopefully it should not cause any issue. If it causes, then maybe I will take the payload from the gateway. So I will go and take the payload from gateway, guys. So let me go to gateway and just try //iwfnd/gateway client to just see what is the payload I can use it. So I call one product which is already there in the system and take the payload from that product and just change the ID. So question mark dollar format equals to JSON. This is my payload. Okay, I take up to euro. I think I am calling a different service to get the payload earlier. No, it's du dummy. That gives me the right payload. Let's get that. Ah, what is my OData service name? Does anybody remember our OData service name? Is just du? I don't think so. I don't think so. It's just du. It's APR dummy. I guess so. It's dummy. Dummy is there into it actually, guys. Yes, it is dummy. And now let's get one product with HT 1000. And I'm just going to copy the payload. There is a problem, guys, in our service. There is a problem in the service. You see, JSON writer is throwing some weird errors. I'm not sure why it's throwing a weird error like this. There is a problem in the service. However, usually when you use this call, it should create the product in the system. I think there is a dump due to some issue, technical issue in the system. You see, it's coming from a standard class. I will check with the system administrator. But yet the complete end-to-end scenario which you want to see with the create and stuff like that, it's already covered in Anubhav learning series. So you can go and also check that up over there in Anubhav learning series. It completely works with the create, update, delete. Everything is covered. So maybe today's class was quite fast. Many of you were like kind of lose the track. But all these things in detail. What is dollar batch? There was one question, what is dollar batch? It's already covered here. What is dollar batch? So this is what I recommend you guys as a next step. Start from the database table to the next level, creating an OData, to the next level, creating a Fiori, and then maybe creating a new OData call to be able to persist the data from Fiori application. So here this complete scenario is covered in this Anubhav learning series. Watch out these 5 videos, extra knowledge, very important for you to learn end-to-end Fiori app development. There's a question, creating offline Fiori app covered in advanced course? No, offline Fiori app creation and stuff is covered in SAP mobility. That course I don't have it at the moment. So there you talk about camera functionality, push notification, all these things is what you call. Yes, error handling is a separate file. So today right now we have done error handling if you see in our current code directly, but usually error handling is also separate file. So they modularize it. When they generate the code from template, they actually modularize it a lot. So if you come here and see, error handler is sometimes also a separate file. In this case, it is here. So you see here, any case of OData service errors, they show it directly like this. Okay, they show it like this. It's modularized actually. Clear, everyone? Not so clear maybe today's class because it was too much to grab in a day. But yet when you start developing your first project, take a POC, start developing it in your company, you would definitely get a cool idea about how to develop it end to end, because all the concepts which are needed are already part of our course. Can you show how to export import projects? It's very simple. Just right click and say export import from a file. It's that easy to export import a project from web IDE. Okay, it's not at all difficult. That's what I'm daily doing it. Is it possible to share a small example video for cross application navigation? It's already covered here. Cross application navigation, watch this video. How to do cross app navigation, it's already covered. I know you're gonna ask this question. I already have created a video because I know what kind of question comes. And believe me, the questions which you ask me are not going for waste. The feedback is always taken. And if I cannot cover certain things because of timelines, I have to create a YouTube video for you. And that's what I've done here. How to do cross Fiori app navigation with Launchpad integration. So I didn't even taught Launchpad integration in this course, part of advanced course, but yet you just want to do a simple Launchpad integration in your company. Watch out this video. Complete Fiori security end to end, starting with the role, OData security, Launchpad integration, and cross app navigation, creating groups, tiles, deploying it in Fiori application into the gateway system. All that is covered in this video. All that is covered in this video. How to deploy your app also. Okay, watch out these videos, very important. You will get all your answers. I completely understand, but I can't go beyond 40 42 hours. It always right now already 45 hours for the current course. I cannot go beyond. I have limitations, because of that I can't go beyond that. But please understand, everything which you ask is not going for waste. I am giving YouTube videos in my learning series to answer your questions. Many times you have a doubt web id or eclipse, that's also I've created a video now. Okay, so watch out these videos. You would get to know all the answers which you have it right now, which are important, completely from project perspective, are already covered. Strongly recommending you to start watching this video, starting from first video to the last video. And if your company using Git, watch out this video as well. Very very important, end-to-end Fiori application development you will learn with it, guys. I cannot share my email ID. I cannot share email ID of any of the student. That's a personal data, very sensitive for me. But still, if somebody would like to share their email IDs and make a group out of it, please do so. I'm fine. Chat box is open for everybody. You have another 2 minutes before we close. You can share it if you wish to. But I cannot share it with anyone. Okay.
Hello, one question here.
Yes, please.
As we are having CRUD operations in OData, we are using some get entity, get entry set, all these methods, right? To read the data and update the data. So when if I have a requirement saying that when user updates some material data or something from the Fiori app, user has to get an email notification saying that this data has been changed by some user, kind of things. So my question is, I have a CLBCS class to be generate an email from SAP backend. Okay, so where exactly I need to write this kind of logic? I mean, as per my understanding from OData, so to get the data, one record get entity, multiple records get entity set, all these methods will trigger automatically based on your request. So when it comes to my kind of special requirement, where exactly?
When you want to send notification?
When it
When user read
updates.
data, that time you want to send notification?
No, when it got update.
Which method gets called when somebody updates the data? Anybody? Which method gets called when somebody wants to update the data?
We can use merge or some.
No. Which method in OData gets called anybody when user updates the data? Which method?
Post, right? From OData point, it's a post method. Post
Forget
or
about
merge.
UI pointer.
Which
The backend in OData project in SE24 in your class, which method gets called? Which method gets called? OData, which method gets called in your DPC extension? Which method gets called? Update entity. Yes, you know the answer. You know the answer.
okay.
Which method you will implement? You know the answer.
The
Which
class.
method gets called when they update the data? You know the answer.
Okay. So one more question. Do we have a file import kind of options in UI5?
Do we have?
File import like Excel import in WebDenPro we have a
Very good question. I
upload.
would like to demonstrate now. If you want to download your product data in Excel sheet, come here, dollar format, put XLSX, press enter. Watch the magic of this, guys. OData, I love it. JSON, XML, and XLSX format now. Watch out now what happens. It will automatically download an Excel sheet out of your product data. And if you can make such a call from your UI to OData service, it is going to give you an Excel sheet out of it. Voila, magic. Double click. You don't need to do extra for those who don't have the knowledge. They will keep struggling preparing in Excel using JavaScript. Those who have the knowledge, it's a seconds job. 1 second job. Does that answer your question? Magic, isn't it?
It's for a download. So what my question is, when something clicked on user, it's like upload kind of. So a user doesn't want to enter manually
Okay.
inputs.
If you want that feature, you can use uploader control. There is an uploader control in SAP. You can see there is a file uploader control. This control, you watch it. Actually, UI
Okay,
common is
but
deprecated. Use the unified one. This one. This control you can use to file upload download. This is also in my
we should
pipeline.
handle.
This is also in my pipeline of creating learning series video on this. In fact, believe me or not, I have a pipeline which is saying do camera integration. How can you take picture from your laptop, put it in a Fiori app and store it in the backend ABAP system? That is also in my pipeline. But I need to get time to do this, guys. Unfortunately, so you guys are so demanding, which is absolutely fair. I'm not complaining. Because of that, I'm not getting time to create new videos. Okay, I'm not getting time to create new videos. So that's my request. If you think that you can save my time by avoiding asking unnecessary questions, I request you to please avoid questions, because when you ask a question, that's a cost of time, and because of that, I will not be able to get more to you. So if you want more out of Anubhav, think about saving my time. How can you save my time? Or if you want to contribute, create a video and give it to me. I will review your video and it will be live on my learning series for the entire community. The moment I upload one video, in just 24 hours, I get 200 views easily. And in about a month or so, I get 1000 plus views in a month. And people are loving it. They are sending me email across the world. I'm getting feedback about this. Okay. So imagine you can also become Anubhav. So if you have done something great which you would like to share with the world, my channel is open for you, but the quality has to be accordingly good. It should be professional. I am giving this offer to each one of you. If you want to, I invite, please create a YouTube video. Please create a video, share it with me Drive. I will review this video and put it on my channel absolutely free. And you will get promote. You will get a lot of, responses. I will put your project, your email ID as well. You will become famous. So if you wish to do that, please do that. Otherwise, please hold on. Everything will come up. Do keep posting your doubts, no problem. But things will come up in the system soon or later in the Anubhav learnings. That's a promise, because I was myself not convinced with this 40-45 hour concept of training, because there is more to it, guys. There's always more to it. That's the reason I wanted to do it. And that's why I started Anubhav learning series in the month of February this year. That's something new. And throughout this year, you will learn a lot with me in Anubhav Learning Series. Keep an eye on Anubhav Learning Series. Very, very helpful. At least watch out these videos. You get very depth understanding about things, guys. Okay. With that, it's a wrap. Thank you so much. Have a nice day and wish you best of luck for your future. It's a lifetime relationship with Anubhav, not just 1 or 2 day, not just the course. You can still contact me for anything. Blog is still open. You can post your questions. You can email me. And thank you so much. Have a nice day and goodbye.